Day 382 of doing a LeetCode problem every day until I get a job. All right, y'all, we're back again another day, another LeetCode problem where we're doing daily LeetCode problems. And today we have question number 1931, painting a grid with 3 different colors. The difficulty level is hard, but don't worry because you already know we're going to keep the solution as simple and easy to understand as possible. But before we get started, y'all, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you need any new Apple AirPods, go ahead and check out that link in the description so you can get you some. Now let's see what the question says. You are given 2 integers m and n. Consider an m by n grid where each cell is initially white. You can paint each cell red, green, or blue. All cells must be painted. Return the number of ways to color the grid with no 2 adjacent cells having the same color. Since the answer can be very large, return it in a modulo 10 to the 9th power plus 7. All right, y'all, so that can be a little bit difficult to understand. So let's go ahead and take a look at these examples just to make sure we're doing this problem correctly. So in example 1, we have the input n, or the input equals an m equals 1 and n equals 1. So that means we have a 1 by 1 grid. Boom. The output is 3. Explanation says 3 possible colors are shown in the image above. Now, let's go ahead and break this down one step further by going through these possible images that they show us above, right? So it's important to understand that in example 1, each square is its own grid, right? Because the grid is only m by n, which means the grid is, in this case, the grid is 1 by 1, meaning this is its own grid, this is its own grid, this is its own grid. So since it's a 1 by 1 grid, that means each grid is its own cell. So in order to have a cell or 3 cells, we are going to need 3 cells because we have 3 colors that we have to place, right? So each grid or each cell in this case is going to be its own color. So we have one grid that's red, we have another grid that's green, and we have another grid that's blue. And the output is 3 because those are the 3 possible colorings that we can create when we only have a 1 by 1 grid, right? There's only 3 different ways we can do it, and that's with each grid being its own color. So I can understand how that still may be a little bit confusing. So let's go ahead and take a look at example 2, where hopefully I'll be able to make it make sense a little bit more. So in example 2, we have the input m equals 1, n equals 2. This time the output is 6. Explanation says the 6 possible colorings are shown in the image above. So once again, it's the same thing. This is not the grid. This would be 2 by 3. All these images are not the grid. Each image is its own grid, right? So that's what we have to keep in mind when we're looking at these images. So this is its own grid. This is a 1 by 2 grid. This is its own 1 by 2 grid. This is its own 1 by 2 grid, and so on and so on. And we have to figure out how many possible ways or how many grids will we need in this case so that no 2 colors are adjacent and we still use all the colors. So to break it down one step further, as you can see, we have the red and green. We'll do the red and greens first. So we have one grid with the red on the left, green on the right. Boom, that's one way. Then we could swap it and put the green on the left and the red on the right. That's 2 ways. Similar with the grid with the red on the left and the blue on the right. That's a 3rd grid. Then we could swap it and put blue on the left and red on the right. That's a 4th grid. Then we need to do green on the left and green on the left and blue on the right. That's a 5th grid, and blue on the left and green on the right is our 6th grid. And as you can see, these are all the possible combinations that we can create with these 3 colors with a grid of m equals 1 and n equals 2, right? There's no other combinations that we can create with these grids, right? They're already taken. They've all been taken. We've done it all, and in total it adds up to 6 different ways that we can accomplish this. Boom. So let's look at example 3. Example 3, they don't give us a picture, so we're just gonna have to take their word for it. But if m equals 5 and n equals 5, that means there are 580,986 different possible ways that we can structure the grids to include all of the colors so that no two colors are adjacent. We have to remember no two adjacent cells have the same color, as you can see here, and no two grids repeat themselves, as you can see here, right? There's only one of each grid, and they don't repeat themselves, and none of the grids contain the same colors. So I hope that makes sense to y'all. That's the problem that we're trying to solve. And now let's get into the fun part, the actual solution, y'all. Solution is definitely easier to understand than the question, so let's get into it. Now, the first thing we're going to do is we are going to create our modulo value for our large numbers. So we could just say let mod, and we'll set that equal to an integer. Then we're going to open up the parentheses. We're going to say 1e9, boom, 1e9 plus 7, boom, and that's going to handle this right here. And then we need a list to store our valid column color encoding. So for that, we come right here. We could declare another variable. We call this one states, and we'll set this equal to an array of integers. Come outside the square brackets and put the parentheses just like that. Now we need to generate all valid single column colorings using depth first search. Each position in the column must not have the same color as the one above. So for that, we're going to create a helper function. Still going to be inside the main function though, and we're going to say func dfs. We're going to open up the parentheses, underscore. We're going to say pos :int, comma, underscore prev color colon, that's going to be integer as well, comma, underscore, we're going to say mask colon, that's going to be an integer as well. Come outside the parentheses, and we're going to open up the brackets. We're going to say if pos equals m, we're going to open up the bracket. That means we reach the bottom of the column, and we need to save the encoding. So we're going to say states.append, open up the parentheses, mask. Come underneath that, and we're going to say return. Boom. Then we'll come underneath this if statement. We're going to say for color in 0 ... less than sign 3, because there's 3 colors. We're going to open up the brackets. We're going to say if color exclamation point equals, or so if color does not equal prev color, right? Because we want them to all be different colors. We need to encode the current column as a base three number, right? Where each digit is going to equal a cell color. So we're going to come right here, and we're going to say DFS, open up the parentheses. We're going to say POS plus 1 or plus space 1, right? Then we're going to say comma color, comma mask, colon, or not colon, mask times 3 plus color, just like that. Boom. Then we're going to come right here, and we're going to call DFS. We're going to say DFS, open up the parentheses. We're going to say 0, comma, -1, comma, 0. So we're going to start our depth first search from row 0 with no previous color, and the initial mask is going to be 0. Then we're going to come down underneath that. We're going to say let s equal states.count. And that's going to count the total number of valid single column colorings. Now we need to compute the compatibility matrix, and compat I is going to contain indices of columns that can follow state I. So for that, we'll just, oh, sorry, y'all, this should be let s. But then we're going to come right here, and we're going to declare a variable called compat, and we're going to set that equal to a 2D array of integers. So square bracket, 2 square brackets, put the int inside, come outside of that. We're going to open up the parentheses. It's going to be repeating colon a blank array. Come outside of that, and it's going to be a count colon s, right? And once again, compat of I is going to contain indices of columns that can follow the state I, because that which is going to help with the colors, or sorting the colors. Then we're going to come right here, and we are going to say for I in 0 dot dot less than sign s. We're going to open up the brackets. We're going to say for j in 0 dot dot less than s. We're going to open up the brackets. We're going to say declare a variable called x and set that equal to states square bracket I, and that's going to be the first column. Then we're going to declare another variable called y and set that equal to states square bracket j, and that's going to be the second column. Then we're going to come right here, declare another variable. Sorry, y'all. Declare another variable, and we could call it OK, and we could just set that equal to true to start. Now we need to check if X and Y are compatible, meaning there's no same color in any row. So for that, we're going to say for underscore in 0 dot dot less than sign m. We're going to open up the brackets, and we're going to say if X mod 3 equals Y mod 3, then we're going to open up the brackets, and we're going to set OK equal to false. Boom. Then we're not done yet. Come underneath this, and we could just say break. Then we come right here underneath this if statement, and we could say y slash equals 3. Then we do the same thing. Or first, sorry, y'all, we say x slash equals 3. Then we do the same thing for y and say y slash equals 3. Then we come right here and we say if OK, we open up the brackets and we say compat square bracket I dot append j, just like that. Then we're going to come right here, boom, and we need to initialize our dynamic programming array to count of ways to build a grid of one column for each state. So we're going to declare a variable called dp. We're going to set that equal to an array of integers. Come outside that, open up the parentheses. We're going to say repeating colon 1 just to start, and we're going to say count colon s. Then we need to fill up our dynamic programming array for the remaining n-1 columns. So for that, come underneath this, we say for underscore n 1 dot dot less than n. We're going to open up the brackets. We're going to declare a variable called new, we could call it new underscore dp, and we'll set that equal to an array of integers. Come outside, open up the parentheses. We're going to say repeating colon 0, and it's going to be count colon s. Boom. Come underneath that, and we're going to say for I in 0 dot dot less than s. We're going to open up the brackets. If dp square bracket I does not equal 0, so exclamation point equals 0, then we're going to open up the bracket, and for each compatible next column state of j, we're going to accumulate a new dp of j, right here, this new dp right here. So we're going to say sorry y'all, for j and compat square bracket I, we're going to open up the brackets, and we're going to say new underscore dp square bracket j equals, open up the parentheses, new underscore dp square bracket j. Come outside that square bracket, we're going to say plus dp square bracket I. Come outside the square bracket and the parentheses, and we're going to say mod. Boom, just like that. Then we're going to come right here, and we're going to say dp equals new underscore dp, and that's going to move to the next column. Now we still need to return the total number of ways to color the grid. So for that, we come right here, and we just say return dp.reduce, open up the parentheses, 0, comma, open up the brackets, we're going to say, then we're going to open up the parentheses. We're going to say $0 plus $1, come outside the parentheses, the first parentheses, but still inside the brackets, and we're going to say mod, just like that. Now that should be all she wrote, y'all. Let's go ahead and give it a run before we submit it. Okay. Oh, sorry, y'all. So we have a should not be a period right here. So let's run it again. See if it runs this time. Let's see, and it's accepted, y'all. So let's go ahead and submit it. Make sure it's still accepted after we submit it. And look at that, y'all. 6 milliseconds beats 100% of users with Swift. Not too bad at all, y'all. So before we leave, make sure you get one more look at the code. This is the top part of the code right here. Boom. Then we got the middle part of the code right here. Then we got some more code right here. Then we're still going right here, and that's the last bottom part of the code. Now, with that being said, y'all, I hope y'all learned something today, and I hope to see y'all here tomorrow for another day, another LeetCode problem. See y'all then.